For my presentation, I did inbreeding in canines. So what is inbreeding? Inbreeding is when animals or species of the same relatives mate together, and in this case, dogs or canines we're going to be talking about. Canine breeders usually use inbreeding to keep the freedom of bloodlines and to use a breed to obtain desired characteristics. Inbreeding is also used to create a desirable dog. A desirable dog equals more money for the breeder, which is part of the reason why they inbreed. Inbreeding can also naturally occur in the wild. Poor husbandry techniques for captive species can increase inbreeding or inbreeding depression. Advantages of inbreeding canines. Inbreeding increases homozygosity. The greater the degree of homozygosity of an animal's genome, the more uniform its offspring will be. Homozygosity is an advantage if the breeder is trying to breed for a specific trait. Homozygosity is when the animal has two identical alleles of a specific gene. And then hybrid vigor is an advantage of inbreeding. What is hybrid vigor? Hybrid vigor is a favorable gene combination value. Improvements in form of function and result of crossbreeding. It can't be inherited. It's a function of gene combination value and not breeding value. It includes greater viability, which means the ability to survive or live more successfully, faster growth rate, greater milk, egg, and wool production in animals. Disadvantages of inbreeding in canines. Inbreeding depression, harmful mutations in simple inherited disorders. It can result in smaller litters, increased puppy death, and a lower lifespan. Can cause genetic diseases like dilated cardiomyopathy, epilepsy, and hip dysplasia. And then in the little corner, I put a picture of hip dysplasia. On the left is a normal view. On the right is hip dysplasia. Mixed breed puppies and inbreeding. Mixed breed puppies, when they're inbred, are less likely to have health issues, less inherited diseases, and tend to have a longer life expectancy, likely to avoid inbreeding depression, and may show heterosis or hybrid vigor, which is what we talked about earlier. So what is inbreeding depression? It's a manifestation of poor gene combination value, which is the result of an increase in homozygosity in inbreds. When two closely related canines are bred, their offsprings are considered inbred and may suffer from inbreeding depression. Their offspring will have less variation in their genetic makeup. It can result in health issues, shorter lifespan, smaller litter size, higher chance of puppy death or mortality, and weaker immune systems. So purebred puppies and inbreeding. Inbreeding in most purebred breeds is extremely high. They're more likely to inherit diseases like dilated cardiomyopathy and epilepsy. And then a study at Belliumori in 2013 had a study of 27,000 dogs, and they compared incidences of 24 genetic disorders in purebred and mixed breed dogs. They ended up finding out that 42% genetic disorders were greater in purebred dogs, while 44% were greater in mixed breed dogs. And then another study was the Institute of Canine Biology. This is where they conducted a study where they found that the highest level of inbreeding was in the Norwegian Lundhound, and that's a picture of him on the bottom. They found that they suffer from extremely low infertility and high puppy death, suffer from lethal gastrointestinal disorder. Another study was the UK Kennel Club study. They conducted a study where they chose 10 Swedish breeds and analyzed their pedigree, meaning the dogs were purebred. The average inbreeding coefficient in 1980 was 0.03. This doubled to 0.07 in 2012. This study concluded that this number doubled because of inbreeding and it could have easily been avoided. And they also concluded that breeding should focus more on retaining genetic variation. They can do this by decreasing homozygosity, and this will help maintain population fitness and hybrid vigor. And then how to manage inbreeding. We should breed dogs of the same breed, but different subpopulations, breed dogs of different breeds, and inbreeding can be measured using a coefficient of inbreeding, which is abbreviated to COI. This is the probability that two copies of a gene have been inherited from an ancestor common to both the mother and the father. And then the lower the degree of inbreeding, the lower the inbreeding coefficient. The end.